Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It seems like we have some people who are in a prolonged adolescence and their cognitive abilities did not develop above IQ 86 or maybe year 13. So we have an article, very dangerous article I would say, because these guys are talking about this. Even talking about it, I think, is dangerous, but let's go and see it. See what's going on. This article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from today, the 20th of August 2022. The West considers applying NATO's Article 5 in response to possible accident at Zaporizhzhya nuclear power plant. So that is, if one country is attacked, all countries will respond. This is Article 5 in nutshell. That is, if they consider that one of their countries or their country is attacked somehow, and that attack could be considered at whatever they consider an attack. As I said, they're 13-year-old adolescents over there, so they could consider it, I don't know, they didn't like the movie, the cartoon they watched, and they could consider that as an attack on their country. So therefore they will use everything what their ancestors, adults, used to be adults, that's how we're going to look back on those guys, adults who built stuff, these tards will use them. I'm afraid of that in this country here when I see who's getting access to a nuclear arsenal. And those people who are very, very, very frustrated, and they can point to exact people or groups who they are frustrated or ideas, they could retaliate towards exactly the same people with the weapons that the other guys built. Just keep that in mind. So we have here Tobias Elwood, chair of the Defence Select Committee of the House of Commons of the UK Parliament, has stated that if the Russians orchestrate a deliberate accident at the Zaporizhzhya nuclear power plant with radiation outflow, it must be treated as an attack on NATO states. All right, this is what this person says, and here says that his stance was backed by Adam Kinzinger. This is an House of Representatives who's getting out of the Congress, US Congress. He's not going to be a candidate again because he knows he's not going to win. And he's a weasel, I can tell you that. And he says that. He's a member of the House of Representatives of the US Congress from Illinois. That's 100% true. In his adolescent brain, that's 100% true. It's not 99, it's not 59, it's 100% sure. Not even discussed. Any leak will kill people in NATO countries. This is an automatic inclusion of Article 5, he tweeted. French President Macron went and met Putin, blah, blah, blah. We don't care about that because it didn't solve anything. IAEA is going to go to Zaporizhzhya. Now, let's see. Let's say that Russia tomorrow will not provide grain to the world. Say, you know what, I'm not going to do business with you guys, I'm not going to provide grain, let's say to one NATO state or to all NATO states. And let's say the population of that particular NATO state has a famine. Would that trigger Article 5? Kinzinger, yes, 100%, right? All right, let's say if the Russians are doing what these guys are, how should I put it, making scenarios. They act on making scenarios, and I can make a lot of scenarios, and I can't make so many policies on scenarios I can come up with, and scenarios very naughtier than this one. This is not impossible or not, I think it's far-fetched because the Russians could do other things to solve problems if they want to be criminals, and as of now I don't think they show that they are willing to do that. They have nuclear weapons, for God's sake. They can do that without Zaporizhzhya and pointing fingers, all right? If they are that criminal. Now, let's go and see. Okay, the Russians are destroying Zaporizhzhya. The problem is, before I go there, is it's a false flag, okay? All right, so the Russians will trigger it. Let's say it's not the Ukrainians can trigger it, hit it, and then blame the Russians. Therefore, Russians will blame the Ukrainians. The West will interpret that as a false flag operation. Therefore, we can attack. That is nothing that could happen like that. That's not a scenario. It's an impossible scenario. Kinzinger, 100%, right? Impossible scenario. Ukrainians hit it, blame the Russians. The Russians know, say that is the Ukrainians. The Westerns, with their adolescents' brains, it was, and their interest, like children, you know. It's my candy. I'm grabbing it. We're gonna look at this. Yeah. It was a false flag here. It was the Russians, and they trigger Article 5. All right. Then what? Then we have to put our brain in two instances. One, an adult one, and the other one in their brain, the adolescent brain, in juvenile brain. Now, what happens? How do they foresee that happening? Bear with me. NATO gets its might, attacks Russia militarily, conventional only, because that's how they see it in their brain. They conventionally attack, push the Russians back, go to Moscow. We have a few generals who have a big dick, and they go over there and conquer Moscow, or have Putin put on trial Nuremberg number 2, and we know how those were conducted. There are books about it. And you get Putin, we get all those guys, we put them in front of justice, and then Mother Justice comes and hangs everyone for the crimes they committed. They get Russia, and then they do reparations, make Russia bring reparations to Ukraine. Ukraine will be repaired, fantastic. Russia will be great, will listen to what we say, and we're all friends and we love one another and we don't hate anybody because we killed the evil. Okay, that's how it goes. And now, and even let's go, they think a little bit above year 13, they go to being 14. They say, well, and the Russians use their nuclear weapons to hit us, but we hit all of them in the air, and then we take care of them. We just annihilate them completely. We don't kill them, but we just destroy all those weapons, and then we come and we just parachute people, and they cover their arsenal, and we win, man. We win. Yeah, man. Yeah, give me 5. That's how it's gonna be in their brains. Now, how that could happen? Now, if that happens in Zaporizhzhya, yeah, let's try. Let's try. I'm not saying we're the adults here, but I think we're above the 13 year of age for these guys. So, if that happens, someone does it, and these guys say, okay, we're gonna attack. What do you think Russia's gonna say? This is what I think Russia's gonna say. If one military, one personnel, one airplane, one tank moves past Ukraine's border towards us or on our territory, we're gonna use nuclear weapons. I'm about 98% certain this is going to be the response. We're not going to deal with you guys like that, and we're not certainly going to deal with you conventional war, because we're going to lose conventional war. We don't have the resources as the other ones. So this is what's going to be. So, which one do you think is more plausible? The juveniles, or maybe my interpretation of what I think is going to happen if something like this is going to happen? What do you think? I don't think NATO will go to war if this happens, because we don't have children still. I don't think we have at a command post. Why? Because they realize, there are some people over there who still realize, leftovers, even though they will be talked down on and so on, realize that the second scenario, the one that I exposed, is more probable than the juvenile that they're talking about. So I don't even know why these guys are talking about it without thinking ahead. Like Henry Kissinger, the former Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, he said, these guys are heading towards a war with China, and they didn't even plan what's going to happen next and the reasons why. The same here. These guys talk, and they're going to catch traction, because that's what they do. They start with the first one. This is the first step. I told you, small steps. That's the mountain analogy that I make. They climb the mountain with the first step, little. They go upstairs. They go straight, and the peak of the mountain top, and they get a bullhorn, and then they say what exactly they wanted to say when they started. Right now, it's just a guy and another tard, Kissinger, or Kinzinger, Adam Kinzinger. Now they talk about it. This is the first step, and then you're gonna hear more voices of adolescents, and they climb the mountain, more until they're gonna go straight there and gonna threaten Russia directly, officially. We're gonna do this if this, and they're gonna remember. You can call attack on your country, it seems like, however you want it. So that thing that happened over there affects me. So everything that affects me, and it's however you want to call it, that means we're going to attack. How about, I'm just going to say, a certain pandemic? What if you find out, let's say, what if you find out that the pandemic, I don't know, was created in I don't know, Zimbabwe, and somehow that, or monkeypox. Let's say monkeypox came from, I don't know, Romania. Not Romania, it's a NATO country. Let's get a different one. Zimbabwe, my friends. Zimbabwe. So it came from Zimbabwe. Is NATO going to attack Zimbabwe because monkeypox attacks most likely homosexuals? It's proven, right? And they're scared about it and so on. Is that what it's going to be? Or not only that, attacks humans overall. I don't care. Midgets or small people or whomever. Will you attack? Will NATO attack Zimbabwe for that reason? Or let's say it just came out from a lab, I don't know, in Sudan. They worked on something and it comes out from a lab, and it was an accident, like this guy say, you know, false flag. And then it spreads around the world. Will you destroy Sudan because of that? Well, you say, well, I mean, that was not an accident. Okay, it was not an accident. But then why don't you talk to your friends, let's say, Ukrainians, to not shell the plant? And then you know exactly it's going to be just the Russians, right? But even though there are so many interests that pull in that area that, well, just think of the two scenarios. And I think the adolescents should, I don't know, be sent in their rooms to clean and, you know, change their underwear and don't wear one pair of underwear a week and so on. That's why I would, this is the level they are. And they are in charge of the rest of us. And you think, how in the hell that happened? That means the adolescents had something that we allow them to use. What is that? What is that? Well, think about it. Thank you for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.